Franklin Roosevelt never had any big high-paying jobs. He was a public servant most of his life. But he had yachts, he had townhouses in New York, summer place up in Maine. Where did that money come from?
And really we should ask, where did that money come from? Hello and welcome again to the International Business Entrepreneurs or Grifters podcast. Geopolitical Queen here with today's episode on some of the secrets of the untold Western fortune. What is the secret of the untold Western fortune? If you were thinking it was a graduation from a university and a 9-to-5 job, as in working hard, that would create wealth for you, then you are still in Wonderland. For all the things that made the Western countries prosperous, these same countries turned around to tell others not to get anywhere close because it is illegal for society and dangerous for the environment. After some Western countries had their fill, they threw down the crumbs to all the other countries and insisted that it was only their new Western way of life or the highway. For example, after most Western countries used coal as their main source of energy to develop their economies, they then realized that coal was dangerous for the environment and banned emerging countries from using coal. The so-called developing countries that are now picking up the pieces are supposed to move at the same pace of those who claimed to be developed and are first world countries. If you ever doubted that drugs such as opium and money laundering were the backbone of the so-called American wealth, for example, then please take a listen to James Bradley's history session about how some of the most prominent American fathers acquired their illegal fortune.
Delano Roosevelt. It's amazing to me that when we hear the name Franklin Delano Roosevelt, we should immediately think China. It was one of the major influences in young FDR's life. His mother, Sarah Delano Roosevelt, grew up in a mansion in Hong Kong. Sarah Delano Roosevelt was the one who paid Franklin's bills. Franklin Roosevelt never had any big high-paying jobs. He was a public servant most of his life. But he had yachts, he had townhouses in New York, summer place up in Maine. Where did that money come from? It came from the Delano line. Where did the Delanos get the money? Grandpa Warren Delano was the American opium king of China. He was the biggest American opium dealer. So it's as if the Cali cartel shoving cocaine into the United States grew a president of Colombia. Now, people are surprised Warren Delano was an opium dealer, a criminal in the eyes of the Chinese. And some people think this is just a little slice of, an unusual slice of history that I've picked out, but it isn't. If you go all over the East Coast, you'll see the influence of opium fortunes. Go to the campus at Yale University. The tomb, which is the headquarters for the Skull and Bones Society, is on the campus of Yale University. That tomb is still financially supported by the Russell Trust, Warren Delano worked for the Russell family. It was the Russell Company that he worked for, the biggest opium dealers in China. Yale is built on land donated by opium barons. The #1 most famous building on Columbia's campus is the Low Library. That's named after Abbot Low, who dealt opium with Warren Delano out there in China. Princeton University's first big benefactor was Stephen Green. Stephen Green took over Russell and Company's opium operations after Warren Delano returned back to the United States, a rich man. America's first manufacturing city, Lowell, Massachusetts, was founded by opium money. The first railroads in the East Coast, opium money. Ralph Waldo Emerson, the great transcendentalist, how come he had so much time to sit around and think? Because he married into an opium fortune. The Council on Foreign Relations, the Coolidge family, opium. Chiquita Banana, AT&T. Scratch the history of anybody with the name Forbes in their name, like Secretary of State John Forbes Carey, and you'll see an opium fortune. His great-grandfather was an opium dealer. So, you know, when the Chinese talk about 100 years of humiliation, this is what they're talking about. We were shoving opium under the eyes of the British, French, and the United States navies. Warren Delano was consul out there in Canton and welcomed the first Navy ships, U.S. Navy ships, to participate in the first Opium War. Go over to Canton, which is Guangzhou now, and you'll see statues celebrating the man who asked Warren Delano to please stop smuggling opium. Go to New York's Chinatown. You'll see the Chinese Americans have erected 2 statues to their heroes. One is to Confucius. The other one is to Commissioner Lin, the official that asked Warren Delano to give up his opium stocks. So now
So what do you think? Has the world allowed some Western countries to deprive them on their prosperities by following their dictated laws for far too long? Or the majority of the world population are just helpless? Well, kindly leave your comments in the comment section below, and thanks for tuning in. I will be back with the next broadcast. Good day.